guys, it's Sal. Thanks for checking out the video. I screwed up the audio on my intro clip, so that's why we're starting with the voiceover on this one. But if you don't already know, this is the rusted out hinge for the hatchback on my S13 240SX. The old pin just sheared right off, and the rest of it was still lodged in the other part of the hinge. In a previous video, I removed the whole hatch, and my main focus has been repairing the spoiler holes and repainting. Fixing this hinge was definitely one of the projects I was not excited to deal with because, if I'm being honest, I couldn't come up with a good solution right off the bat. But I needed to do something because sooner or later the hatch was going back on. I decided to start with the easy part of getting the outside pieces removed and the bracket cleaned up. A combination of the flap disc and some drill bits made fairly easy work of it, but it definitely would have gone much smoother if I had used a center punch on my drill bits. I didn't, and they just kind of walked all over the place, which made the process a lot less efficient. Okay, so I got the both holes drilled out. They came out pretty good. So I don't think I oblonged the holes too much. The other big question is, am I going to be able to get the pin out from the middle of the upper side of the hinge? Because obviously you're not going to be able to pass it through if there's a bolt stuck in there too. So more questions, but I'm just happy that this got finished up and these holes are clear. So here you can see the other half of the hinge with the rest of the pins still stuck inside. I was honestly super lost on how to approach this because everything was just so tight, and because it's a relatively small piece, it was hard to get a good grip on it, especially because I don't have a vise or a good workbench or welding table I could bolt it down to. So the next best thing was my storage rack, and this actually worked surprisingly well. I first started tapping the pin with my hammer and a little Allen key that was around the same size as the pin. Now, I wasn't expecting it to be that easy, but I at least needed to give it a shot. After that didn't work at all, I decided that it couldn't hurt to soak it in some rust remover solution, so I left it there overnight a couple of times, and I think it was a big help in getting the pin out. My next plan was to try and drill out as much of the pin as I could, and then tap it out the rest of the way once I removed enough material. Drilling was super slow though, so I tried using a bolt extractor set, which didn't work at all. Then I tried grabbing the exposed end with vice grips and turning, but that didn't work either because there was only like 1/8 of an inch showing and I just couldn't get a good grip. Then I decided to tap the exposed end back down into the hole, and it actually moved. So a little more drilling and PB blaster, and the next day I had it bolted up in my storage rack and tapped the pin right out. It was an incredible feeling of accomplishment for such a dumb task, but after going at it for about a week, it just felt great to be done with it. Okay, after I don't know how many hours, I finally got this middle pin out, and I think I have a good solution for how to make this hinge work again. Let me go explain it. Okay, so my plan is to keep this as close to factory as possible, not making too many crazy modifications. So the holes on this side of the hinge, they accept a 3/16 tube. That's like what was in there. So I thought about upsizing, but I think it works perfect, and like I said, I don't want to really modify it too much. So it fits really nice, and that's what I bought. I just picked up this like steel tube from Lowe's for super cheap, like $3. And then, like I said, finally got this this half hollowed out, and now I'm trying to figure out how I can make this 3/16 tube fit in here because it's super loose, as you can see. So that's where I came across this. These are like telescoping brass pipes. They're hollow, obviously, and I found these at Ace Hardware. Again, super cheap. They're like $2 each or something like that. And so the biggest one is let's think here, 9/32, and then I have 1/4 inch, and then I have 7/32, and then below 7/32 is 3/8. So this slides right into the smallest one, super tight, really like perfect. And then each of these slides into each other really well. Hopefully you can see this on camera. And then this biggest one fits into the hole like just tight enough. I think I might have some trouble getting it pressed in here, but I might try to tap it in. Hopefully I have some adjustable wrenches that are big enough to get it to just kind of like squeeze it in. I think that'd be probably my first choice as opposed to tapping. But yeah, I'm super happy I thought of this. they're brass, so they're not super flimsy to begin with, and then when you layer 3 of them up, it's pretty solid. Plus, it's only, here I cut some already, it's only this long of a section, so I feel like, you know, it's not crazy long where it can bend super easy. Like it's pretty solid. So I'm gonna try and get all this figured out, get them all cut to length, pressed into here, and then yeah, I'll let you guys know how it goes. It was a huge relief to find these, assuming that they'll work. But yeah, I'm pumped. Let's do it. So, like I said, I first wanted to try pressing it in with some big adjustable wrenches, and the biggest ones I had were these oil filter ones. I really wanted to go the pressing route over tapping because I didn't want to mushroom the top of the pipe or bend it or anything, whacking it with the hammer. The wrench did have a good grip on the pipe, but I just had no luck getting it squeezed in. So next I decided to try tapping it with my hammer, and that worked a little bit better until it didn't. The brass pipe started to fold over and refused to go in any further, so that kind of sucked. I just had to bolt the hinge back up on the storage rack and then tap it out. Very similar to how I tapped out the old pin before. Well, obviously that didn't work. You can see, hopefully, that the hole is just not big enough. It started squishing into... You can see how it's just kind of folded over. It started squishing into this hole here because there's nowhere else for it to go as I started pressing it down. So this is, like I said, 9/30 seconds. So I think I'm just going to go buy a 9/30 seconds drill bit and make this hole the perfect size. And then I'll be able to press it in a little easier. Hopefully it still fits very snug. That's kind of the goal. But I think, yeah, because it's tough because the 9/30 seconds is a little bit too big, obviously. But the 1/4 inch is a little bit too small and it still has a little bit of wiggle room. So I'd rather go up a little bit, make this tight, or make this fit, I guess, and then I'll just scale down using these telescoping things down to the right size. So I'm gonna go, I don't have a 9/30 seconds drill bit, so I'm gonna go grab one and then, yeah, I'll let you guys know. So once I drilled out the correct diameter hole, and don't worry, my drill isn't failing or anything, I was trying to go slow on purpose. I cut another length of brass pipe and lightly tapped it in with my hammer. It slid in like a charm, and I could instantly tell that I made the right decision to drill the hole to 9/30 seconds, not trying to squeeze it into the old one. I think the trick for getting it in there is just lighter taps, more lighter taps. Before I was kind of whapping on it. Plus, obviously I made the hole bigger, but I'm going to try and clean up this hole here, the tip of it, with a drill bit. I guess it'll be a 1/4 inch for this one. And then, yeah, I'm going to throw some white lithium grease on the inside of it, just to try and keep everything lubed up. And then we can throw in the other rods, and hopefully this thing all works out. I'm excited. Okay, guys, I am so happy with this. It's tight, it smooths, it spins smoothly. It's not going to rattle around at all. Like, everything is so tight. So man, am I happy with this. What I did was I increased the diameter of these holes on this outside piece to, what did I do this to? 7/16 so that I could fit in this, the brass pipe all the way through the whole thing. And I think that helped solidify it a lot. And then the 3/16 little metal rod can slide right through that all the way through. And I had to space it out with some washers, just so that it didn't have room to slide back and forth. But with one washer on either side, like, it is so tight in there. There's no rattling at all. It spins super freely. I'm just so happy with this. Okay, so I tried welding washers on, I tried soldering washers on, and the solder just didn't want to stick to the washers. There's probably some, chemical thing that I just don't know about. Or metallurgy, but what I ended up doing was just kind of let the solder fall onto the washer, and then the washer just slipped right off, and now it's locked in there. It can't slide out. It's not perfect, but I almost kind of prefer it this way, where it's got a little bit of wiggle room. I mean, it still spins super freely. It's got some wiggle room, and the solder will hold it in place, kind of like two little end caps. So yeah, I'm almost ready to call this done, which is kind of exciting. As far as I'm concerned, this thing is it's almost as good as new. So I am so happy that I was able to figure this out. Yeah, I could have just bought a new hatch hinge on like Facebook Marketplace. I could have reached out on the Facebook group, see if anyone had one or parting out a car, but I don't know, this was kind of fun for me. I probably spent about the same on all the freaking drill bits and, you know, tubing and pipe and whatnot, but it was a fun like problem solving little thing, and I don't know, I'm glad I did it. So I'm gonna get this back installed on the hatch. Now we just gotta finish sanding it, we can paint it, and we're good to go.